highly dependent upon agriculture.
Okay, so let's pick this up. For perspective, ladies and gentlemen, when the first union budget was put together, we are talking about 1947-48. The government expenditure was 197 crore rupees. Nirmala Sitharaman will sit today and probably announce an expenditure of about 50 lakh crore rupees. Now, let me get Sumit Peer on this. Sumit, it is now a truism to say that we are stuck in an odd scenario, that there are whole swaths of the Indian public that do not pay direct taxes. Agricultural income is exempt from all direct taxes. Now, that's fine, but the problem happens when there are pretty well-to-do, pretty wealthy people who will find through some pretext not to pay tax. Now, those can be a set of people who, let's face it, are flying around in private jets, but they own nothing. Everything's on the company balance sheet and the company writes off all expenditure. So, you have a private jet, even the jet fuel is expenditure. Everything that you're writing off in terms of percentage of depreciation every year. And we find that the amount of taxes paid is pretty little. Then we find, of course, the rest of us who have to first earn a salary. So, now we've done the mathematics. If you earn 100 rupees and then you pay 20-30% tax on it, then every time you go purchase something and you pay another 18% tax on it, think of what you end up actually having from your hard work. Sumit Peer, this is a going frustration. It's got nothing to do with this government, previous government. It's an ongoing frustration. But is it being realized in the halls of government?
Rishabh good morning to you and all the fellow panelists and all the viewers. Pleasure always to be on the special broadcast like this. Well, I want to put a few things in perspective, sir. The first and the most important thing is, if you look at the receivable side of the government of India last budget, right? The number one contributor is income tax, though we might argue only 2 crore people pay income tax, but that is the biggest where the money of the government comes from, followed by GST, followed by corporate tax. So only so-called 2 crore people paying income tax in India is more than the corporate tax and GST collected. That's also a reality. So, and out of that, the salaried class is the person, or the middle class is the person who gets squeezed most. Now, the challenge is also the same, is like you have 42 crore people which are in middle class today. It is supposed to go to 60 crore. It is almost 31% of the people who are typically going to vote because they are all adults and earning. It's a big electoral mass which you have to capture, and this class believes in when things are done for them, not promised for them. So what I expect, looking at all those things and looking at their aspirations, first, agriculture has to be brought up, what Dua Sahab rightly said, there's no doubt about it. Second thing is that, up to 10 or 12 lakhs, we expect that, they should be given some respite, they should be given some kind of a thing. I am hoping that the old tax structure, which had this lot of jugards, I would call them now today, ye bill dalo, wo bill dalo, that will be given off. Because Modi ji has promised less tax. For less tax, you need very simplified tax structure. You can't have those 50 exemptions and all. So I think the old tax regime will go. Even when there's a new tax regime which is being talked about, then only you will be able to give some standard deductions. And the thing is, Rishabh, people in this country always crib about GST. I have a suggestion to make about the GST. Look, with GST, now you have AI, you have software, so a lot of technologies which are available there. You can introduce a collateral free lending based on your GST collected or paid. So it's like a salaried person can, like you and me or somebody can get, credit cards for 20, 30, 40 lakhs if you have that kind of a salary. But for a business owner, if you can use the GST paid as a way to calculate how much of collateral free lending can we do to them. But for this, for MSMEs and SMEs can be a big revolution. So with these things, you have to manage your fiscal deficit. You have to look at the budget. You have to put money with Rishabh on the defense now, because you look at the hostilities increasing around us. You look at the challenges increasing around us. So it's not easy.
So I'm going to pick on that. But the biggest, of course, challenge is everything is fine if the country is growing at a healthy pace. And as Ajay Dua mentioned, we have to be slightly cautious of that, because we've had an economic survey yesterday.